everybody. Welcome to Okayama, Japan. Today, we're going to have two quick 20-minute races for this first silver heat featuring the BMW M2. Going to be a great race along this technical, tight track here in Japan. I am joined by the one, the only Nick up here in the booth. Nick, how's it going, man?
It's going great. It's a beautiful morning out here, but over there it's probably afternoon or something. But no, it's a beautiful track up in the mountains there. Like you said, very technical, and I can't wait to see what these M3s are able to do.
It's going to be just a treat for us and then everybody joining in Stam Studio Network as well as the IIL YouTube channel. Oh, it looks like Ofer going to go around on his outlap of qualifying. See that track temperature here today looking at 19 degrees Celsius, so a little cool, and you can already see it's track state carrying over. That gravel kicked up. I'm going to talk about that all race long. And it's like almost like something in Mario Kart, Nick. You throw some gravel down behind you, and it'll make the the car behind you spin out. Gonna be fun to watch today.
Almost. Yeah, it will be. These M3s are really gonna have to hug these corners tight, try to carry their speed through. Like you said, it's very technical, but at the same time, there are some straightaways that you can pick up speed with, but a lot of it is gonna be how you enter and exit these corners and chaining these corners together that will mean either getting a good fast lap time or losing out on precious seconds to that person in front of you or that person behind you. So really gonna have to keep an eye on it, as we've seen two different lines out of that corner already, trying to see what the most optimal is for their driving style.
And bring up the points for everybody real quick is we are ticking down the end of the season. Only have two more races to go. Bring up these AM points. Got Alex Kozacek in the lead, Tom Rappaport P2, or Birdie Gabriel. Then you can kind of go down the rest of the list, see if you see your buddy, your friend, or family member where they're running. Alex, with that win on the season, running with that average start of 6th, we're going to see where Alex is running here at the moment here at Okayama. Actually, I'm not looking like... I'm trying to find him here in the standings. Man, Nick, what are you looking forward today? Especially the Silver Series. We've seen some aggression out of the series so far. Not maybe as much respect for one. Just kidding. These guys all know each other in real life. The difference between silver and gold is so cool to watch. And yeah, back on the question, what are you looking for in the start of the silver race?
Attacking the track, drivers that can attack this track, make it their own, and not let the track dictate how they need to drive, but them telling a track, I'm going to drive this way and you're going to bend to my will. Those are always those drivers that can really make those numbers really drop low in terms of speed and show off a bit of the skill that they've been able to develop over the season. It shows that they have mastery over the track. They've put the time in, the practice, and have the knowledge and understanding of how to maneuver these cars, not only when they're side by side, but also by themselves, because it's two different styles that you have to drive when you're, wheel to wheel drafting somebody, or if you're alone on the track and you're looking to just keep a consistent drive. If you're not able to keep focused there and keep that consistent drive, you can really lose a lot. So that'll be something we'll have to keep an eye on.
It will, and something that I appreciate Tal for is, if you guys don't remember, people joining in live chat, or Nick, I can't remember if I had you here with us last season up in the booth or not, but man, we actually ran a different car last season. Actually, the car switches every season, so we ran a little bit something more reminiscent of a Formula One car, is that Super Formula Light last season, and this,
I remember that.
It's a completely different car now and way less downforce, only 365 horsepower. Going to be, tough to get a handle on this thing as we see Tom going a little wide.
Yeah. Uh, it's, the M3 has a lot of power behind it, but like you said, there's not as much downforce as a Super Formula, so you have to keep your eye on your brake timers and understanding where you need to be at certain points on the track. Keeping that car straight, and making sure that you're accelerating in a straight line so you don't lose out on that back end, because it is very easy, if you're not careful, to lose out on that back end and fishtail yourself around a corner, and you've lost everything that you fought for there. So mastery of the car is going to be super important, and I think it shows with how some of these racers are able to whip it around this track.
We're going to be able to see the different lines that you mentioned earlier develop through this race. The track going to continue to take a bit more tire rubber, continue to take gravel thrown up from competitors that maybe get off the track in front of you. Just one more minute up until qualifying ends, so if you are just now joining us, we'll cut to that drone intro one more time, brought to you by Google Earth. Get a great aerial view of the track. You can see 1, 2, kind of 3 straightaways, and then super tight technical, really sort of hairpin-esque turns. And then if you miss your braking marks by 100, 200 meters, just going to go straight off into the gravel, as we've already seen a couple drivers already do here in qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to be, very interesting to see how focused they're going to be throughout these races to make sure that they can get to those points, those braking points. Is you can see right there, just too much gas too early and swings you right around. Got to be careful.
Alrighty, we are getting just a little bit closer to things kicking off. Matter of fact, just 10 seconds till these drivers get up on the grid. You see their bottom of the screen. Go ahead, show your love. Subscribe to IIL YouTube channel as well as my own Stam Studio Network. Appreciate you guys having me and Nick on board with you today. This Silver Series going to be 2 quick 20-minute races, going to invert those top 6 for that second race. Then stick with us. We will bring you the same stream, the Gold Series to follow, and same exact setup there. Starting grid, going to go as follows. Tom Rappaport putting it on the pole. Alex Kozachuk, P2, Rodham Katz or Brahm. Ido Tal, Rodham Lev, Birdie Galili, Ofer Mazuz, Shalami Bakush, and then Amnon putting out that top 10. Lots of more drivers, though, out of that top 10. Elrian, Tomir, Alexi, Gabriel, Ariane, Tom, Aviad, Mini, Matan, Urza, and then Abe Ziv going to round out that 21st starting spot. I'm so eager for this thing to kick off, and turn 1 is going to be a treat, especially on a little bit cooler temperature track, as well as these tires, brake temperatures, maybe just not up to operating conditions. Is this will be a standing start for our drivers.
Yep, and when you go into that first corner, especially, you have cold tires, cold brakes, everybody's around you. Chaos can ensue at the drop of a hat or at the turn of a wheel, essentially. You're gonna have to be very careful and be able to adapt to what's going on, not only in front of you, but also next to you and behind you, to make sure that you can still run the race that you're wanting to race. Is we're waiting for everybody to get onto the grid right now and wait for those green lights to drop.
So just waiting on 2 more drive. Oh, okay, there they go. Perfectly timed. Looks like this grid's up and lights. You see them top of your screen there. Gonna be 5 red ones. Wait for them to go out, and then green. Away we go. Field is going to be in Tom Rappaport's, Alex Kozachuk's hands. And remember where these guys stand in the standings, right there up top. And we have to be a little bit careful here into turn 1, as we are already getting a little dive bomb out of Rodham Katz. Nope, thinks better of it. Clean start so far for Silver Series. Oh, as right as I say that, Abe Ziv's gonna go around. Oh, then another incident up front.
There's another one, yep.
Oh, quite a few drivers involved.
Chaos in the back. as a few drivers get turned around, a little too much gas, maybe a little bit of a bump. So we can see one car there missing their bumper. That's going to hurt the downforce, because downforce not only equates to what goes over the car, but it's also how it's funneled under the car. So you have to keep that in mind as you think about downforce. And whenever you're missing that front bumper, that splitter, you really don't have the control of how the air goes under the car to increase that downforce. So have to keep an eye on what they decide to do with that. Is now with everything kind of settling out, a little bit of an off track there, and you can see a little bit of a fishtail at the end for that faded yellow. As we're gonna take a look at Tomer, and that orange, as they get turned around, almost able to save it slightly.
What a save out of Tomer there. That orange number 94. Oh my gosh, Alexi maybe a little bit deep, but now Alexi and Tom Shea going to look side by side. There's now more gravel going to get thrown up on the track. Let's take a look at kind of what happened on that start. There were so many incidents after really turn 1, 2, 3. Oh, here's Ido after big incident. No front bumper, and yeah, just no turn left in that BMW.
Yeah.
I think this may have started with, may have been Amnon. We're going to take a quick look here. Yep, this is 3 wide. That's not going to work too well. Contact, and then, yeah, you see the white car on your screen going around Amnon as well. And, well, more drivers got through cleanly than I thought they would.
Yeah, Amnon didn't really have too much problem. It looked like Ito had a problem before that caused him to lose his bumper, and it didn't really show there. But either way, he lost his bumper. He's going to be, you know, really hurting to try to make something happen. As at least in the front, it's going to be Tom and Alex. Alex in first, Tom in second, going around chasing each other, seeing who can get the most points with these 20 minutes.
We'll flash the points up on the screen. I'm too scared to miss a incident here. As we got Rodham, Lev, and Ofer nose to tail. Actually, that's Rodham and Birdie going at it nose to tail through one of the 3 to 4 hairpins here at Okayama. Looks like a little bit better exit for Birdie. Rodham still trying to reel that gap in as we take a hop on board Rodham's BMW now. And man, still some very close battles throughout the track. Only coming to 4 minutes to go.
Yeah, no, you can see the two, maybe 3 groups have really formed where people are battling it out. We have that lead group, and then the, starting with the number 5, there's this other group, well, between 3 and 8, and then, you know, 9 to 15, with 16 catching up on them a little bit. But we have these couple of groups here that are really battling it out, seeing what positions they can get themselves into. As Tom lost out on that position there. Beautiful move down that straight to dive underneath and make that happen. Alexi putting on a show.
Oh, but Tom's going to go right back up down the inside, up the hill. Now we're going to bang doors. Their BMWs, surprisingly, both mirrors still on. Both sets of mirrors on both cars. Alexi and Tom side by side down the long backstretch into another tight hairpin. Alexi's on that outside this time but this time Tom able to get that better run. And then this is going to present Minnie right here on the entrance of, or the inside of the next corner, now having to unfortunately give way to Alexi. Great battling just for this 9th spot. Driver around there. Looks like is that either Rodham or Abe Zev around? Still battling tight as no!
Ooh.
Oh, wait.
And there goes Alexi. He turned himself around, too much gas, and then just got shunted more by that, what looks to be the 77 car? That pink and blue, yeah, 77 there. Just there was nowhere for Manny to go and had to kind of push his back end out. Or actually, yeah, Alexi actually just turned into Manny. And there's nothing that Manny could do there except just keep going. So Alexi just not understanding where Manny was on the track, and he turned himself around because of it.
I will say, Alexi, great job doing a Oh, getting off the racing line is,
Oh.
no, we're going to have Formula Drift out here kicking up gravel. You see it. Something new within one of these with the recent iRacing season. Oh boy, gonna have to be careful if you're Aviad, Matan, or Urza next time by coming through. Is that gravel can very easily and will do stick to your tires and present huge loss of grip as you kind of see Aviad going a little bit deep, but making the line work, carrying corner speed exit up here for P11 at the moment.
Yeah, they're looking good for the most part. You know, we've had one or two issues. As we're going to take a look at Tomer here. Good exit there. And then just too much speed, braking under power. You know, braking with that turn, and it just is not how you want to be braking, as it will whip you around if you're not careful, as you see there. And now you can see so much gravel on this track right now.
Matter of fact, oh, we are so much gravel. I think it is playing a role. Shlami going to take a spin is just within this last lap. We've had 2 or 3 spins throughout the whole track. So, guy, if you're a Gold Series driver tuning into this race, of course you already have that in your mind with your road iRatings and skill levels that you have. But I mean, it's on every entrance and exit at this point. Is look, Tomir's going to throw up even more. This is like Mark watching some Mario Kart racing.
It really is, and it makes it difficult for the racer, for every single racer as you go around, because you don't have the same kind of grip. Everything changes, and you know there's still more than 10 minutes left, and it's going to make it very difficult as more and more and more gravel gets on. And it's not just going to hinder your race, it's going to hinder everybody else's. We're going to see a lot more spins as people are going to start to go wide because of that.
Yeah, we'll take a look at Shlami's incident here. This is coming onto the start-finish straight, I do believe, and then, oh, not start-finish straight, but, oh, just a little bit off the pace, then gonna look 3 wide into another left hairpin, and, oh, look at Tomer taking evasive action. Barely able to get around it, but gonna be a loss of pace for the 96 BMW. Alex, man, still up out leading. It took the lead from Tom on the start and not looking back. Great run for him.
Alex
so far.
doing a great job to build out on that gap, even with the gravel, using the entire track to their use and making sure they're able to push that gap. You know, it was only a couple, you know, hundredths of a second. Now we're looking at 1.4 to 1.5 seconds split, and it's just going to keep growing if they continue to put that great line down that they're running.
About 2 yellow BMWs going at it, just like one hue off of another. Looks like number 10, it ran trying to get to the 422's back bumper, but how about our biggest mover in the race so far, Mini, up here in P8, gained 10 spots since the start of the race, and oh, it looks like the nose just a tiny bit of damage, but doesn't seem to be hindering his pace too terribly much up to P8. And then we got to remember, you have to take a look around this P6 spot back to the battle between the 2 yellow BMWs, because this battle for P6 going to essentially have the pole for our next heat race, or our next mini race, call it, coming up. I'm just going to clarify that real quick within iRacing. Top 10 inverted. Okay, so I'm glad I did double check that. So instead of looking at this top 6 battle, although it is really good, we will, as this race continues to tick down a little bit towards the end, if you finish P10, man, that's pole for this next race, and then P9 going to be P2, and so on and so forth. A little bit something else for these drivers keep in mind.
Even if you can't, you know, everybody of course wants to get P1, but getting that P10 can set you up nicely for that next race. So something that you have to keep in mind is Tom has laid down the fastest lap in the race just now, 1:39.321. You know, that's the way to get back. You can see he's closed the gap a little bit on Alex, going down to 1.25 to 1.26, 1.25. So that's looking good for them right now in terms of catching back up to Alex. But as we were talking about, if you're in that 11 to 15 range, you really want to try and get to that P10 to set yourself up for a potential success in this next race.
Going to be great run for the points for both these drivers in the top two, but you mentioned it. Actually, looking at those last lap times, looks like Rappaport able to gain just a little bit more time last lap. Matter of fact, quicker than Kozacek, but I just saw Tom run a little bit wide last corner. Gonna see if he continues to close the gap here, but visually it looks like he is. Gap down to now 1.2.
Yeah, visually he is making small progress, and there's still enough time where he can overtake that overtake Alex's car. It's just, can he keep it up, or is Alex going to get back onto that racing line and extend it out, or maybe Tom makes a small mistake and puts the car into the gravel for a second, loses some crucial seconds. As you can already see, it's back up to this 1.5. It's a game of inches right now, and when I say inches, I mean centimeters on this track, because every little bit matters. You want to use the entire track to your liking, making sure that you have a good line through, carrying as much speed through, but also at the same time, don't use too much where you're taking grass, you're taking gravel, because that does slow you down if you're not careful.
That's where these cars really challenge these drivers too, because I mentioned it a little bit earlier in the race. Sure, you got a little bit of downforce. You see the wing on the back of these BMWs, but not really what these drivers could be used to, especially with Super Formula lights. I know that was last season, but different drivers have different cups of tea, and you see the front headlights flashing out of ore saying, "Hey, Aviad." Not sure what move that was or why I was kind of upset there, but maybe just saying, "Hey, I got places to be," as Orr's going to look down the inside of Aviad, take the move, maybe just get him looking in his mirror a little bit with that headlight flash, able to get by. And then Tan Schuster up here, up to P12, gained 7 spots since the start. Great run for him so far.
Yeah, no, some great runs on the back of the field as well. Some great battles as Matan here tries to make that dive work. They have that inside line. Are they going to be able to stick it? Not quite, as now you come into this left and they have to back off a little bit. That outside line just not quite enough, as they're going to be looking for more, but not quite able to secure that position, as it was well defended by Aviad there.
And great respect that we saw between Matan there. We did see some side-by-side, but once he saw it, wasn't able to get the car to stick, just kind of gave the spot back to Aviad, and that is some mutual respect racing going on. You see it all the time here. IIL aka Esports, love this series. If want to get with these guys, make sure to get with Tal Stern. It's just great racing all up and down the pack, both silver and gold series. We're at Okayama today, bringing you the action, coming to minute 15 out of 20, then going to invert that top 10 grid. Tom Shea trying to hold off Mini for this P7 spot. Get some really good points going again for these drivers. Everybody in the top 10 going to improve their points in the standings, and now I believe I'll take a moment here, cut to the AM points, bring them up on screen. Alex Kozacek, Tom Rappaport, P1-2 in the standings, and that's exactly where they are running in the race at the moment. Or Birdie, Gabriel, that's a 3, 4, 5 spot in the points.
That's exactly where Alex and Tom want to be right now. They're battling it out for that top position. Only 2 points separate those two between Alex and Tom. So not only is this going to matter, but also that flip is going to matter, as they're going to have to work their way through that top 10 field. Because if it goes right, if they flip right now, that means Alex is going to be P10, Tom going to be P9. And with how this battle is going, it's going to be those two having to work their way through the traffic of that top 10, as well as battling each other at the same time. And that is going to be a sight to see. But there's still what, 4.5 minutes here before we do that flip. So it's going to be, you know, those two still battling out. And Tom's losing out quite a bit right now, 1.8 seconds, as we're going to take a look at Xiaomi here. Decent exit. And then, yeah, just too much speed. You can see those back brakes lock up. Lots of smoke as they try to make sure they don't get put into their into that wall there, as they then re-enter on the far side to make sure they don't sit on that racing line too long. But yeah, you got to be careful coming into these corners, take too much speed, and you can easily whip around if you aren't careful.
I see plenty of names popping up now in the timing and scoring software I have here for graphics, and man, you can see it on the track too. Just more and more gravel continue to accumulate, and Session is going to transfer its track state over. You said Xiaomi's name there. I realized how bad I was torturing it. Man, quite a few names this season, but yeah, appreciate Xiaomi coming out with us, and Nick, you kind of teach me to say it right, so I appreciate that too.
I butcher just as many names as you do, so do not worry.
Yeah, man, don't hesitate to let us know either. We'd just love to try and get these right. There's going to go into the gravel. Take a look at the replay and see what happened there. Just a bit too deep was that.
Yeah, they tried to dive bomb. I like the play, but then they just got bumped because they couldn't rotate their car. So Ezra dumped and put into the gravel because they couldn't rotate their car after making that dive bomb attempt.
I'm with you. I kind of like the look, but it was so last minute and maybe just way too much speed. 96 going to clip the 86 there, send him in the gravel. Good looks though. That's a really nice ILAKA paint scheme.
I like the aggression.
Yes.
I love the aggression, but it was too late, too fast for that corner. That's a very slow speed. It's a slow speed corner because you're doing an almost full 180 on it throughout the entire thing. So you have to be very careful in how you approach that corner with your line and how much speed you're carrying, because you've got to rotate your car. You got to get that back end around, and if you're not able to do that because you're carrying too much speed, you're gonna have that happen time and time again.
Is it just me, or did the track, we get some cloud cover over this thing? Take off the old sunglasses.
There is some definite cloud cover because it did darken on for me too, but didn't affect these drivers too much, except maybe no glare.
Yeah, shoot, that's a win-win. Maybe cool the track down a degree or two, but yeah, with how much time left in this first mini race, not sure we will see any effects take places. We're showing 19 minutes out of the 20 with 1 minute 40 lap times. Depending on when Alex gets by the start-finish line here, will determine when this thing becomes official. So you see that up on the track map on the right side of your screen. Yeah, the start-finish line at the very bottom. So gonna be kind of close cutting it. It's Tom Rappaport still trying to reel him in, and then that battle for that P10 spot. Or is P9 at the moment, and then Aviad P10. This really our closest battle on track at the moment between Shea and Brahm. P8, P9. But Alex looking to make this thing official as going to round the last, 3 turns, just calling it a set of turn, but completely different each. You got the hairpin here, a little bit more sweeping right, and then a bit more sharper right to head back on to that start-finish straightaway. It's going to be close on the timing when this white flag or checkered comes out.
With 8 seconds, I think it's going to be checkered here. There's not enough time to get across. Yeah,
you are
checkered.
Correct. Good call, Nick. Congratulations, Alex. That's going to make our first mini race here, Okayama Silver Series official. Tom Rappaport, P2. Odom Katz, P3. Birdie Galili, that 420 coming in, P4. Then Ariane gaining 6 spots since the green flag dropped. Ofer Miniland, P7, gaining 11 spots since the start. And Tom or Aviad rounding at that top 10. Aviad, congratulations on that pole for race number 2. Stick with us here on IIL Stam Studio Network. Is just about a minute or two time going to get that second mini race started up for Silver Series. Nick, I mean, battles all over the track, just going to continue here in the second race.
Excellent battles across the track, and we're going to see even more as now our leaders aren't going to be able to take off with that lead. I mean, you can see between Alex, Tom, and then Rotem. Ooh.
God.
We had a massive
huge hit.
Shunt there. After the start-finish line, you can see it goes from a 2-second gap to a 10-second gap. So that is something to keep an eye on, as Alex and Tom are the clear 2 fastest racers in this lobby right now. But what matters now is how they have to work their way through 9 other cars, essentially, 8 and 9 other cars to get back up to that 1 and 2 position. They have 20 minutes to make that happen. And it's not going to be easy. Anytime that you're going into traffic like that, you not only have to keep an eye on your speed, your braking times are different, how your racing lines are going to be slightly different because you're having to swing in and out, when you can pass, when you can't pass. All these things come into play now, and it's going to really show us the quality of driver that they are in trying to get back up into that P1 and P2 positions.
Oh, this is why I love coming back, watching IIL aka Esports and Karting Series, because this top 10 inversion, like you said, man, you may have the pace to drive away from it, but let's see you start back here mid-pack and come away with, well, hopefully a clean start here into a tough, tight turn 1. Waiting on one more driver, and we will get things going green for you guys.
Waiting for those lights drop. 4 and gone. Away we go. You can see the rubber burn as all of these cars take off. Are we going to see the same shenanigans that we see in turn 1 that we saw last time? As we can already see 3 wide almost going through turn 1. A little bit of a tab there between 1 and 2, and that means 2 is going to drop all the way back to 3 as they take advantage of it. Now going into turn 2, turning now to that left. Nothing else, a little bit too wide in a few areas, but no touches. It's much cleaner coming through turn 2 than we saw in the first 20 minutes, and now we can see a run up here for
Alex.
that pink car from Alex, really showing why they were so fast.
This is what it all comes down to, man. Like I said, you may have the pace, but gotta show that you can get back up through the pack cleanly. And unfortunately, Tom, he's trying to get up through this pack at the same rate as Alex, but not able to do it. Matter of fact, it lost 2 spots since the start already. Not what you're wanting, especially as much pace as we've seen from Alex that first race. Just trying to keep it clean as we are still too wide heading down the hill now. Oh, is that Tom that goes around? Is that Xiaomi? Oh, and then hard damage for Tomer.
Shunted.
Ooh. Heavy impacts early on in this second heat here. Okayama, Japan. Just trying to keep things clean for Alex and Tom a little bit further down the pack, but Brom, 325 going to lead us across this first lap. Coming up into lap 2 now, Tom Shea gained a spot since the start of the race as well.
Yeah, no, they're looking really good right now, making sure, Alex right now in P7 has gained 3 spots, looking to make their way through, using that draft, saying, let's see, can they make this move? No, they're going to back off of it.
Probably smart, yep, like that.
Good defense by that student driver. I don't think they're a student if they're doing defense like that there, Sean.
Yeah.
It's going to be, working their way through the traffic.
Ofer up in front of him. Love that very vibrant student driver paint scheme as well. We're going to see a puff of smoke out of it. That is why Aviad going to go take a loop through the grass as well. Is that student driver paint scheme? We were just talking about him. What happened there? Saw the puff of smoke out of the back end of one of the BMWs and just all heck broke loose.
Yeah, student driver made it through. It was a different bright faded yellow here
Gonna back this up. I
As
hate to hit the rewind button, but man, we're gonna have to just to see what happens. Break this down. Ooh. Is that the orange? Okay, so orange of Arian, or Aviad, I guess I should say, going to go around the 71. Looks like gets tagged off the front nose of, is that the 77 of Miniland, believe there. And then we're going to rewind this again here, get an overhead shot, maybe kind of break this down
and
a
it looks
little
like
bit better.
that faded yellow just locked up. You can tell by the turn they
Oh,
weren't
that
having
happened.
any issues.
That happened way back
those two
here.
were going at it. So with the purple and red down in the bottom left, you
Aviad
can tell
Mini.
they're going at it, just not giving racing room like he needed to. So that's going to send them off, slow them down, and that's just the return bump. That's the thank you bump for bumping me earlier. But the yellow car, not the student driver, it's a different yellow. They just locked up mid-turn because they needed to brake more, and that sent them straight. Because as you're braking and turning, you don't actually turn while that happens, because if you brake too much, you just lock up and you just start sliding, and that's what happened there. So they got put into the gravel, and that gave Alex a way to get into P3, and Tom Rappaport's made a big comeback, coming up into P5.
Oh,
now
Mini's
P4,
gonna get tagged by Ido, or not Ido, excuse me. Yeah, look, was that off the front bumper of Tom? Let's take another look at Mini going around. What happened there? That is orange and black BMW down the inside, and just the slightest bit of contact gonna send Mini around the 77.
Yeah.
That's all it takes, man. These cars so light that, I mean, the slightest bit of contact, I'm sure many of these drivers not meaning to cause the incidents or contacts that they have, but that's sometimes just all it takes. Tom Shea, Alex Kozacek up to B3.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that they've you have two Toms, and Alex in the top 4, with Birdie rounding out the top 5, and that gap is 4 seconds between Braum and Tom Shea, and then going up to 5.1 seconds to Alex Kozacek, and then there's a 2-second gap between Alex and Tom Rappaport. So it's going to be up to Tom Rappaport to continue to push, as right now the fastest lap of the race is Alex Kozacek, dropping a 1:39.522, who has moved up into second place now with a beautiful overtake around the outside of Tom Shea. Very clean maneuver there. Now looking to hunt down Braum, has that clean air in front of him, doesn't have to worry about traffic, and just look to lay down the fastest laps that they can.
Let's take another look at that pass on Tom here. I mean, we're on board with Alex now. Take a look at just how wide he enters the turn, and then Tom on the very inside of the track. Again, so much respect for one another, leaving all the room, but unfortunately for Tom, going to result in Alex Kozacek up to P2, and also unfortunate for Tom Rappaport, as he's still trying to reel him in. Tom's now only a second behind Tom Shea up in front of him, so you said it, Nick. We know who has pace here in the Silver Series, and you're seeing it play part once again, but I'm very impressed with Orr so far. The 325 still up out front.
Yeah, he gets to race his own race right now. He's got no issues. There's nobody in front of him, nobody behind him to put pressure on him. It's going to be up to Alex Kozacek to use these last 13.5 minutes to close this gap and really put pressure on Orr here to make a mistake and for them to get this first place position.
Now let's see. Saw it on the first race. We're going to see again the lap time comparisons between our front two runners, and Kozacek looks like was faster just a lap ago, but unfortunately for Kozacek, Braum showing the pace. Lap 1, 2, and also 4. So we have to keep an eye on this battle for the lead, as close battles still continuing all throughout the track.
Yeah, I mean, there are some excellent battles happening throughout, and with how that's happening, you can see just this nice group of cars here. These are some excellent breeding grounds for some wheel-to-wheel and great passing area opportunities as they come through. This is an excellent shot here. See them go right under, go right past. I always love, like during the Daytona 500, the Indy 500, you get those side camera shots where they have the flowers next to them, so you can see the
Yes.
flowers just shake violently as they go by, so you can see how fast they're going. Always fun to see that shot, those shots.
Whoa! Okay, we may have needed a new camera there. Got ran over once, maybe twice.
There's another off there.
There was. I'm trying to. Was that may have been Ido? We're gonna. Oh, it is Ido. He's gonna tow it to the pits. What happened with Ido? Here's a look at it. See a car off on the track in front of him.
Locks up there, then gets shunted in the back and gets put almost into the wall, but just doesn't have the control he needs. Decides to put it into the pits.
Ah, I hate to see that for Tal. Man, he showed some pretty good pace here in Japan today, but battle between the double Toms still going at it. Looks like Rappaport able to hold that outside off, but not make the pass. Gonna try and set up this next few sets of corners and then head down another back straightaway. Oh boy, Orr still out to 5 seconds in front of Alex. I am super impressed with Orr. His 325 today, especially as much pace as we've seen from Alex in a race 1. Tom Shea able to hold off Tom Rappaport behind him, and then Elrian Assa there up a spot since the start of the race in P5.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Shea's going to go wide.
Tried to make that dive bomb maneuver and it did not work out. Puts them into the gravel pit, and that's going to put them down into 5th position, if not lower. Unfortunate times there for Tom Shea. As yeah, it wasn't even a dive bomb. He was just forced into a mistake by that orange and black car behind him. And now he has to try to make it back on.
Incident between Mini and Ofer. Looks like, I'm not sure if this was a separate incident or combined with one another. Let's see. Already no front bumper on, could be Ofer's BMW, and then heading down into the corner. Not enough room for 2 cars there. Oh, and he's gonna hit the old reverse on him hard into the barrier. That looked a little. I do want to take one more look at that. Is that just? I mean, I know the speed differential is if you don't have a front bumper, but here's a nice aerial shot of this. Oh, come on, tree! What was that? Of course, there's a tree there. Just maybe. There's disagreement between 2 drivers. No harm. Well, a little harm, a little foul, but.
Yeah.
Okay. Or still out front. Alex, Tom. You see it visually now. That's, well, it was in that one camera shot. Sorry for the old fast switching camera there, but yeah, Alex is starting to. He was reeling in the gap on the straightaway, but I don't know if it's just a more technical section or it's actually got the pace, able to put even more of a gap on Alex. What a run! Impressive.
Yeah. Orr is making a great case. If they can be in first, they can absolutely just run away with it. Another one of these speed demons on track, able to hold Alex at bay, keep them 5 seconds back. With only 8.5 minutes left, it's looking less and less likely that Alex is going to be able to nab first position from Orr here. But with Tom Shea going wide, it will extend their points lead in first over Tom, though. So good feeling for them. There's another little incident on track there for Ezra as they get pushed off the track. I just saw the puff of smoke as I was looking at the timing screen.
So I believe, okay, again, hate to do this. It's so unprofessional on my part, but I just have to. Gonna see Tom Shea get tagged by the Digicam, kind of orange and gray. Oh, is that the 15? It is the 15 BMW of Rodim Lev, and then this is just going to cause a bigger incident here because we got a pack coming through. Oh, he actually stopped on track to give the spot back, did Rodim, and then the whole pack starting to come through here. Actually, no further incidents from that, so great spot to get.
Except for right there at the end.
Yeah, between the white BMW, white and red. Not sure. Try and see. Yeah. Okay, Amnon back here is still making it through clean. So. Oh my gosh! I was told by one of the Gold Series drivers before this race, man, have the replay button ready. Get the gravel brooms out, and was not mistaken. This has been so much fun to watch. Appreciate everybody joining in, both YouTube channels here today. And hey, Nick, I appreciate you joining me up in the booth for some silver and some gold action.
Yeah, no, this is some great racing that we have today. We still have a few more minutes in this silver, and then we get to move on to the gold, as it looks like Tom Shea goes off once again, and this time it loses their bumper. Too much curb bounces them off, and now they're going to have to go through this without a bumper and hopefully be able to make something happen. But they have more damage than just a bumper, as they have some really bad smoke coming out of their car.
Oh, it could be the engine gone in that thing. You see gravel overcorrected, boom, hard into not even the steel or tire barrier, but concrete. That's going to leave a mark on the car, as well as hopefully not, maybe the wrist. Hopefully, Tom, everything okay in there. And Alexi Sorpin going to go around. This is in another one of the hairpin corners here, the 27. The Simpsons-inspired paint scheme. See what happens. Trying to set the car up, and too much throttle, too much speed. Going to go around right in front of the cardboard cutout fans.
Yeah. And again, it's throttle control is ever so important to making sure you can get through a corner on that back end. Too much throttle while under turn means that you can very easily spin if you don't have the grip necessary. That's why you do it on the straightaway. So even if you don't have grip, you're still moving in a straight line. You're not worried about having to correct or anything. And unfortunately for them is another one, Tomer. This gravel is really making a number of these turns very difficult, as Tomer gets turned around as well.
Again, if you gold drivers are watching this, you gotta keep this in mind as
your gravel.
Yes, it's so. You say that it's so hard to see, or I guess even run offline. But yeah, just you see it there. Out of Tomer's back end, get a little bit loose, and then gets his ship righted the right way. But these drivers going to be begging for grip in Gold Series. Oh man, Braum. Don't want to speak too soon, but still showing the same gaps. Good job. Great job so far. Hopefully able to keep this going with just 4.5 minutes to go. This battle for P9, 10, 11, 12 hasn't gone away since, even the start of the race. Even, who is that there with no front bumper? Ofer. Nice running. Oh my gosh, P11. How is he making that work? Every car around him's got their front fascia arrow working for him, but no, nothing for the Mazouz 422.
Yeah, no, I mean, another great run by Ofer. Even though they don't have that front bumper, they're making everything they can of it.
Look at that. That is not a happy BMW.
No. It is not, but hey, you gotta race the race you can, and they're making everything they can of it right now.
So fuel, not really a factor in today's heat races, but tire wear definitely is. I know we have Aviad here. I know this has been a gaggle of cars for, again, quite frankly, the whole race, and I wonder if you're maybe starting to see these guys push their front tires maybe just a little bit too hard. You're running already in the dirty air of the car in front of you, making your car even harder to turn in faster speed corners. As the no bumper 422 Ofer trying to make a pass, get P10, get one of those championship points. As again, we only have 2 more races to go after today, so coming towards the end of the season. Tomer, it looks like another incident for the orange 94. See what happens to him.
Yep, just that braking it while turning, too much speed going into the corner, tried to brake while turning, and just does not work out.
Happens
Puts them right
so
around
quick. Oh, we're gonna be looking damn near 2x2 coming through one of the hairpins is heading back onto a straightaway. Aaron able to get that spot, then Rodim Lev. Oh, well, he's up in front of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 cars in a camera shot. And we are at minute 18 to go. Or 2 minutes to go, excuse me. Ooh, look at how many cars! This is not the end of this battle for, it would be P8 is the lead of the battle, but it ranges all the way down to P13 in one battle. Who's going to come away with the most playoff points? As contact between Ofer and the 78 Amnon, as everybody's going to keep it clean going forward. Nick, this looks like some NASCAR racing here. What is going on? I'm banging all around. Love to see this here.
It's
leaving the room.
so good. You know, it's hot and heavy, wheel to wheel. Mistakes are gonna happen. Hard racing.
Ofer goes around.
Most of this is not malicious. This is all just racing incidents with, you know, silver tier drivers. You know, these things happen, and they're doing a great job of keeping it clean for most of the race. And some things happen, and you know, they're doing some excellent racing. But ooh, too much speed there in the back end of that. Has to whip back onto the track after going wide into the gravel, so they're gonna lose one spot, if not two, off of their line. And
this will be the white flag as Eran's gonna shove it down into turn one. The quite possibly best spot to make a passing zone. A little bit of internet issue, or maybe that was an incident limit there for the black BMW. Blinked off track. Eran going to gain that spot, and then so this white flag out. Everything's going to be official from this point on. That battle from what was 8th to 13th is now dwindled down from just 8th to 10th. Is now Eran's gained that, or Erza, excuse me, and then Aviad as well as Amnon here, trying to get that spot P9 from Aviad.
Yeah, they're doing a great job throughout to make these runs, get as many points as they can.
Oh my gosh!
Oh!
Amnon, Erza going to have huge contact. Minnie as well as Ariane going to make it through that incident. We will best believe take another look at that as we're going to come towards the checkered flag. Make sure we get all these running spots correct. Actually, we might as well just do it real quick. Let's see what happens there. That was, I believe this incident, just didn't want to lose it on the timing scoring. Yeah, Aviad getting turned by Amnon there, as the checkered flag will fly this time by for Orm Brom, going to make it official. Kozacek, Rappaport, Asa, and then Birdie Galili, the 420. That number 5 spot solidifies even more championship running points. Gabriel Fuchs, Rodim Lev, Urza, Miniland, and then Amnon. Yep, you see it there. That'll make it official coming across the checkered flag line, getting P10. Aviad coming home at P11 after starting on the pole. Ofer coming home P12. Man, I'm out of breath after a great race. Man, Nick, that was a lot of fun, and if you are just kind of newer to IIL, stick with us. We're going to bring you gold. Going to be, I don't know if it'll be more entertaining than what we just saw, but definitely will be close. Oh, man. Okay. All right, stick with us on this stream. We will be right back. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the stream. Got some Gold Series action for you coming up from Okayama, Japan. Got the one, the only Nick up with me in the booth. Nick, thanks again for joining me today. How you doing, man? And are you ready to experience some Gold Series action?
I am always ready to experience some Gold Series action here at the Okayama Raceway. And we saw the silver, we had some great battles there. And now for this gold, from what I remember from last season, they were in the super formulas. It was a lot cleaner racing. The speed was faster. They had a better understanding of not only the cars, but the track. They were really pushing the limits. So I can't wait to see what they pull out with these BMWs.
Going to be so much fun to watch as we already have qualifying on its way. We'll go over the race info for you after qualifying ends, but we got the one, the only Yuval Merak here. Looks like not putting down a lap yet, but on their out lap. And oh man, I didn't do this pre-stream, so let's just see. Do we have any live driver shots here? We do. We got Ran. Hey, Ran, appreciate you coming out. I shouldn't try not to distract you here during quali, but all right, we got a driver cam for us. Be sure to cut to that just a couple times. This race is, I mean, look at the intensity, the mental, the mental capacity that this takes to get one of these BMW M2s around the track here. Ran that number one. We'll see where he puts down a qualifying spot. Thanks again for coming out today.
Yeah, no, they've done a great job. You know, thank you for coming out, putting out this race. We already see a little bit of gravel on track from the qualifying laps that they're putting down. Trying to see what they are able to come out and, you know, what times they can push. You can already see just how fast they're coming through these corners. Great braking there. Beautiful line through to get through that hairpin, and now back onto this back straightaway.
Yeah, this
beautiful shot of that car.
Going to be the timed lap, and yeah, you see it there, the vinyl wrapped up on this BMW M2, the number one livery on the side, or the number one car number, excuse me. Maybe a little bit of foreshadowing, but we've seen Ran have lots of pace, but Nick, I believe the last time you were with me was last season when we were running Super Formula Lights, when we saw Ran kind of dominate those higher downforce cars. Ran, we're going to pop the points up on the screen now. See where Ran's running up in this pro category points. We got Alon Day, Yuval Merak, Ryuvan Ayeli, Yuval Merak number 2 there. It looks like separate account. But we got Ran running P6 in the points, and Nick, I mean, with only 2 races to go in the season after today, man, this season's ticking down and ticking down fast.
Yeah, it really is. Not much time left as Alon Day is looking to extend their lead over the pack and make sure that they can secure that first place and win overall.
Gonna have to be careful though, because, well, shoot, you always want to win, of course, but we are splitting just like we have all season, and same thing with Silver Race. If you tuned in there, we're gonna have 2 separate 20-minute races for gold here today, and we're gonna invert those top 10s. So if you're just now joining us, appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe to IIL YouTube channel as well as Stam Studio Network. But yeah, we're going to see that top 10 inverted, and top 10 right now in qualifying pace is Sison Baba, Lodem Shafir, Mark Zubarev running P8, just 2 spots above that 10th spot. So as this first sort of mini race ends, keep an eye on that 10th spot, as well as going to see interesting to see the winner of the race sort of start and see how they manage traffic. But Alon Day, see it, NASCAR Wheel-In Series on the old profile picture down there, putting it on the pole, 138.42. almost a whole damn second faster than our Silver Series. Great pace so far. And Reuven coming home, looks like going to solidify his second qualifying lap now. So far, P2. Yuval, P3.
Yeah, no, we see some great, and it's a lot tighter in these timings as well. We saw massive gaps between 1 to 2 to 4, but now we can see it's only a second between 1 and 8. So not only are they faster, but all these drivers are more consistent with each other. So we're gonna see a lot of good battles across the entire pack as the race gets started.
Well, Nick, I'm not sure how often you like to look at and use the old live timing and telemetry, but just getting that link to you in Discord now, just thought I'd just throw that up in the booth for us in case you're waiting on it or missing it. But got that sent over, and man, that's gonna solidify that P1 spot going to Alonde, unless, well, we still have Arnon, Sison, Baba, and Reuven here on track, but I think it's going to be very hard to beat that 132.4 put down by Alonde.
Yeah, that time there is going to be very difficult to beat. As I'm looking at it right now, so the fastest lap so far has been this 138.415.
Oh,
but it has been beat by Reuven right now, a 138.414.
Making the booth look like
0.001 seconds.
Oh my gosh, that's about as small as that gap can be. Reuven, congratulations! Now he's the last car on track, going to park it, bring it back to the pits. Man, Reuven gonna take that pole away from Alonde, but still got Alon gonna start P2, and you see on your screen now that podium. These drivers all hoping to end up here at the end of this. P3 for Yuval Merrick, Rantasoni, P4, Ayeli starting P5. We are in for such a treat. Grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and go ahead and take a seat, because you're not going to want to leave that seat within the next 20 to 40 minutes.
No, you will not, as we get everything set up and ready to go right now for the start of this race. Like we were talking about in the Silver Series, this is a technical track with 2 long straightaways for these racers to really show off what they're capable of in these BMW M3s. As we get a nice shot of the Lexus sign as we talk about the BMWs. But the BMWs, yeah, compared to the Super Formula Lights, of course, they don't have as much downforce. There's a lot more leeway. They're a lighter car, so these bumps do make a big difference. And we're going to have to keep an eye on it and see how they decide to, come into these turns whenever there is traffic that they have to deal with.
Yeah, that traffic is going to play a part, as well as the gravel thrown up on track. If you did not join us in that Silver Series, oh boy, did that gravel thrown up on track play a part, and a massive part at that. But you see the starting grid up on your screen now. Reuven, Alonde, Yuval Merrick, Rantasoni, Ayeli, Yossi, Omri, Mark, Dima, and Arnon rounding at that top 10, waiting on 2 more drivers to grid up. Then we will get the lights out and away we go. But looks like, again, 19 degrees Celsius, so a bit cooler track temp. Going to keep an eye into turn 1. Things could get a little bit wild. As we saw in that Silver Series, and all these drivers, or most of them, friends with each other, if not real life, over Discord, have lots of respect for one another, and I think we are going to see that play a part here at the Gold Series. It already did Silver Series. Lights coming on top of your screen, and they are out, and away we go. Reuven got that pole last second. Field is in your hands, heading down into turn 1.
Split up, going almost 3 wide, but Reuven's just gonna hold on to first right now. About a 1.1 second gap between that of their car and of Alonde's, as everybody is fighting. No one's off just yet. All clean racing so far. Just a little bit of puff of gravel down through the midsection of the pack as we're entering now turn 4, this first long roundabout before getting onto the back straight here. And now we're going to see them all go under us. And these cars have some pace with these drivers.
That they do, and early, man. Already getting to that back first sort of straightaway. Get the old track map up for you guys joining at home, and you can see where your favorite drivers are running is still a huge battle between first, and we'll go all the way down to P17. Every driver in the field. Nobody's gone off the track yet. Is the 39 going to look down the outside? Tyson Baba as well as Lodem Shafir going to head side by side down into a short back stretch into a quick left-hander going up the hill. Will be another quick right-hander after this one. Going to have to set that BMW M2 up. Everybody's still on track, running really well, and Ayeli, Mark Zubarev, and Ido already up a spot since the start of the race.
Yeah, doing a great job for those racers in these tight times with these packs.
Look at them playing with
every second you can.
Playing with the arrow too. We didn't see any of that in the silver race, and we saw Reuven trying to break that slipstream down the back. Sorry to cut you off, but then that just caught my attention.
Yeah. No, that just shows the skill of these drivers and the understanding that these drivers have of this of these cars and of this track, of how to really get the most out of it.
We hop on board with Ran here again, have that live camera shot looking at the focus of Ran, the mental capacity that it takes to get one of these BMW M2s around Okayama, Japan, and cleanly trying to make a pass on a Yaley. Got Yuval Merrick up there, P3. Great run for him so far as we are heading down into another hairpin and the tighter technical portion of the track. Dima off the track. A multi-car incident. We will take a look, see what happens there. Looks like Omri and Dima both involved. Might have to hit the all rewind. Oh! Ooh. What happened with the purple BMW? Oh, he gets some help. Is that Omri?
They have a slight bump there.
Here we go. Here it is.
And then just gets dumped a little bit there. I think that was very unintentional.
Not definitely, man.
As they were, you know, a little bit of a turn in there by Dima without having full clearance means that they get dumped and put into the wall. And unfortunate for that other car, there's just nothing that they could do. They're a passenger. You can't avoid that at all.
Hate to see that for those guys, as man, showing lots of really good pace there out in practice. But Reuven, Alon Day, Yuval Merrick still battling for this, well, for the lead of the race. And don't count out Ayeli, Ran, Yossi either. Only, I mean, just a few car lengths back from Yuval. Oh, only 4 minutes into this race. I can already tell this one is going to come down to the last few minutes, possibly even seconds. Do we see a little bit of slipstream games again played down the back? And Nick, I don't know if this is just you again, but looks like another cloud coming over the track might make temperatures drop just a few degrees, maybe 1 or 2.
It could, absolutely, as we still have about 15 and a half minutes left of this first stint. That truck was throwing me for a second there. I thought there was a car off.
Like, what the heck kind of BMW is that?
Yeah, no, it could play a factor in. I don't think so, not with these drivers, but we'll just have to wait to see how they react to this as the gaps are starting to widen from these cars. You can see now Alon Day is about half a second back that of Reuven. And Yuval is now about a second behind, and it just grows from there. So still some tight racing, as we can see here looking backwards.
A little bit of bump drafting
from Mark. Oh yeah, a little bit of bump drafting. Love to see it.
Well, I mentioned that, and then right as I look away from my timing and scoring, we got Lodem making that move down the inside after giving a little bit of shot down the back stretch. So, hey, nice move to kind of set that up and work well for the both of you without losing any pace. Something I've seen, though, you mentioned Alon Day dropping back to about half a second gap. you can never count this guy out. 2 weeks ago,
No.
I kind of started to just a little bit and man, improve, really shorten the gap, and I think ended up coming away with one of those mini race wins. Alonde Yuval Ayeli still up within just a second or two between that leader. Oh boy, you see the track on the track map on the right side of your screen. Everybody still within a gap or their own little groups. They're starting to break in within 1, 2, or 3 groups respectively, but each group has their own battles and they are raging here early at Okayama, Japan. That's got this track opened in the 1990s. It's got 14 corners, 2.3 miles. You have to bear with me here as I put miles down on the track notes, not kilometers, unfortunately. Knowing that the IIL, ILAKA Esports drivers, man, it's nighttime for you guys. You guys are on the other half of the world. Appreciate you joining us here tonight and putting on a great race for Nick I up in the booth and everybody joining their YouTube chat.
Yeah, no, I mean, some great racing here. Love to always be in the booth for something like this. Is wheel to wheel, bumper to bumper action now for these cars. Is yes, the gaps are widening, but there's still these micro battles happening for positions all up and down the track here. As we're looking at one between Ran and, if I can find them, and Ayali here. As Ayali in that red car just in front of Ran, playing really good defense there against this very fast driver in Ran, but not letting them by. And it's clean defense. This is what we love to see. As Ran's trying to make a move up the outside, but not quite able to make it done, just barely getting the nose past the bumper and then having to back off. Some tight timings here between these cars.
Yeah, mentioned this sort of pre-race and in qualifying as well, or I even mentioned it silver race too. These drivers, I know that they each have their preferences as far as, you know, driving style as well as even what car they drive. And yeah, man, we saw Rand run away with the Super Formula Light series, and then we're seeing him, I'm not sure if it's the dirtier air or just trying to struggle passing Ayali there in front of him. But I know he's got a ton of respect for every single driver he races, and I think it's just that much harder to try and make a pass here in one of these BMW M2s compared to maybe some open wheel racing. As Ryuven continues to break the draft down that front straightaway. Still only half a second gap on Alonde here in the old baby blue number 15. Great run for these drivers so far, and yeah, that top 3 starting to kind of separate itself just a little bit.
Yeah, they're looking really good. Those top 3 have about a 2-second gap over that of the number 4. So really starting to pull ahead and using, you know, that cleaner air to their advantage as we get some beautiful shots of these cars as they come down. Just look at how fast they flash by. So close on these turns.
And so close on these turns is as well the whole pack. I know just went to a little bit of clean shot to give you a clean view of these drivers as if you were kind of here spectating or just sitting track side, but I'm gonna cut back with it now. And yeah, you see the track map on the right side of your screen, or do now. Yes, that top 3 still continuing to pull away, but don't count out any of, I mean, the gaps. Look at them. Only 2 car lengths between. Got Lodin Mark in front of him, Arnaud running behind in P9th, Ido Balstan right behind this pack, and well, he's leading a pack of his own. Got the old Peppa Pig machine of the number 5, and then Iran there behind running P12th, our biggest mover since the start of the race. Another yellow BMW at drawer last, up 3 spots, actually tied with Lodim as the biggest mover, and then flashed up on screen for a second. Ido was up 4 spots, but now up 3 spots since the start of the race. And that number 50 trying to reel in the Peppa Pig machine of the 5 of Sison Baba. Sission Baba.
Yeah, they're looking really good here. The gaps are widening still, but this Peppa Pig car is looking good from Scion Baba. You know, got that livery to stand out. You love to see it, and helps to keep track if you're wanting to see them on the track. Now you know where they are. It's very easy to spot them. That's the point of a livery there. That and promotion.
And it will look a little brake glow out of the right front of number 5 as well, but able to get it slowed down. No lockup. You mentioned in that silver race too, we saw a lockup or two, and if you guys are newer than the old iRacing or even racing universe, once you get one of those tires locked up and smoke flying out of the back of your BMW, there's just no slowing it down, no getting it to turn. The only thing that you can do is kind of counterintuitive. You get off of the brake pedal just to get the car back to rotate, and that was a lockup avoided there. Just saw the front right brake rotor glowing. You could grill some lunch or dinner on all of these front brake rotors, as we are getting now just over halfway to go within the first mini race. Drivers starting to get a bit more comfortable with what their cars and brakes have to offer here in Okayama, Japan.
Yeah, doing a great job here as right now the gap between Allende and Reuven is about 0.35
Ooh.
seconds.
He's closed that
Getting
gap
tight
down quite a bit,
there.
hasn't he, man?
Yeah, it was, you know, widening. Now it's right back tight. They're gonna use that windshield wiper there to just clear some of the gravel off. They're gonna take a wide into inside. They're gonna try to go for the move there, but not quite able to secure it, as Reuven just has just enough of a car to stick in front and make sure that Alon does not have enough of a window to force their car through. And that is some high level racing there, ladies and gentlemen, as it is these three cars vying for that first place position right now.
Oh, Reuven, Allen, Yuval all continuing to battle for that top 3 spots, and got to be careful if you're one of these 2 front runners. Yuval always has the pace, especially in these BMW M2s we've seen all season, Gold Series. You start fighting within one another too hard for top spot, that represents Yuval to get right back in the battle. We got MF Racing on the back bumper of his number 25. Looks like YouTube logo. Be sure to give those guys a shout out. And yeah, he's right on the back bumper of Alon Day. Alon raced tons of real life racing as well. I mentioned it earlier. Even done some NASCAR Euro wheel in. So being on the right on the back bumper of that, if you're in the cockpit of Yuval's 25, that's pretty special, and quite honestly very close to leading this thing.
Yeah, they are quite close, you know. The gap, you know, is an accordion right now, going back and forth, close to far, and it's looking good. You know, there hasn't been any major offs. Nobody's missing bumpers or anything like that. You know, we just had I think that was even last race where we had the one hit that just shunted everybody, but no, that was this race. But
I think that was this race, and looks like we got Asaf Yarin if the old, okay, looks like Asaf had a bit of an incident himself, but Nick, you're mentioning it, very clean race, and well, I cut to what was Asaf, excuse me, let's try this one more time. I'm showing a incident, a self-caused incident as well. Ooh, he's struggling with handling. Just decides to pull it off into the pits. Not really sure what happened with that incident there. Ido as well, but these are the only 2 incidents that's caused a red flag within the replay software. We got Peppa Pig machine going down the inside. Ido, the number 50, gets tagged, and around Ido goes.
rare to see one of these incidents happen in the Gold Series here, as now with Ido getting spun around, they're going to drop to 16th position, 35 seconds back off the lead, and 12 seconds off the next car, Yehuda, who's running 23 seconds off the lead. So some big gaps starting to form, but I mean, you can just see how close some of these others are. As Alon Day to Reuven has dropped to 1.1 seconds, but Alon to Yuval is down to 0.2, and Yuval's making a run up the outside, puts their nose around, but not quite able to seal the deal as they have to back off of that through that hairpin. What a move that was by both of those racers, not only on the defense but also on the attack.
I loved the look out of Yuval, and man, the door was open. As now they're going to head into an uphill left hill back into a right-hander. Oh, I mentioned it earlier. You start battling between yourselves too much for P2, and you're going to see that P1 continue to grow in the distance. And even a Yaley behind these guys, I know he's only showing 3 seconds back right now, but that gap will continue to shrink if you get to fighting one another too hard. Me personally, I have only ran the Mazdas here in official iRacings at Okayama, and sure, you got quite some similarities between the Mazda MX-5 and this BMW M2. Not a rear wing on the Mazda, so a bit more downforce shown for these BMWs today, but I can definitely contend and show force that the hairpins that we see within these broadcast cams really don't do it justice. You have to get the car slowed down to what feels like 10, 20 kilometers an hour, and that just presents even more passing opportunities. But Nick, we saw it a few times in that silver race, and now twice or just one time in the gold race. You miss your braking marker by a centimeter or two, and that just presents, well, hopefully you don't lock up and get to your competitor in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, the back markers matter, the braking markers matter, like everything is down to single yards in these scenarios, because waiting just a little too long and you're into the back of that car in front of you, you've wrecked your suspension, you've wrecked their suspension, you have no bumper, they have no rear bumper, huge amounts of issues that can arise from it. So something that we're gonna have to keep an eye on as we get through. You know, obviously, as this winds down, only 2 minutes left on the clock, we're gonna have that flip of the top 10. Reuven's gonna be in 10th, Alon Day's gonna be in 9th. Are they gonna be able to work up through that slower field? As we can see, it's a 21-second gap, almost 22 seconds between 1st and 10th. And Omri, are they going to be able to have decent speed to keep them at bay, or is it going to be Reuven and Alon punching through the traffic and getting out into 1st and 2nd like we saw in the Silver Series?
I'm so glad that you bring that up, Nick, because if we look at even the lap time differential between these top two, looks like a 1:38 last time by between our leader and then Day right there with him. So if we compare that to the times of, say, our P9 and P10, which will be starting on the pole, looks like a 39.8. Omri right there just a little bit quicker than a 39.8, a 39.6. So lap times pretty close to one another, but a long 20-minute race. I know I say a long 20-minute race. Might be just enough time to see Reuven and Alon make it up through the front of the pack, only if they're able to do it cleanly on those first sort of laps that are able to get through the race.
Yeah, and now for these last few seconds, just making sure you can have a good position to start that second race in is what matters right now. Any final battles that come through are really just for position. As you can see, the headlight flashing there, trying to see if they can't maybe say, let me through, but nothing coming of it as we come down the start-finish straight here, the front stretch.
White flag, white flag, white flag is out. This thing will be official. Reuven leading this thing. Alon Day, oh, he's trying to hold off Yuval here for P3. I think Alon's just trying to give up the battle for the lead and play a little bit of defense, offense, all on for the Merrick Machine 25. And then this battle between Ran, Yoshi, and Yaley for 4th, 5th, 6th. Don't look away from it. Again, it just takes the slightest slip up from one of these BMW M2s. Oh, Ran, I thought was going to look inside. Matter of fact, thinks better of it.
Close timings there, as they're just vying for this position, and it's so close in these BMW machines. You know, of course, they're all rated the same, so it's all on the skills of the drivers here to see what can happen, how they decide to pilot these amazing pieces of machinery. But no one's giving an inch, no one's giving a mile even as we get through these last few turns. The technical portion of the track is now over as they go into this hairpin. That's really a double hairpin, you know, left and to the right.
Yeah, got
to
set
then
up
go
that next
on
one.
to the big roundabout down to the front straight to, yeah, like you said, set up this next stint of the race here.
That's going to, however, make it official. No, we just wanted to stick at the end of that battle. No switches on that last lap, but Reuven going to make it official that time by Alonde P2, Yuval Merrick P3, Ayeli P4, Ranchesoni P5, Yossi Gabe P6, Arnon Levi P7, Mark Zuvrev P8, Omri Farag P9, and then, so Omri will be starting on right beside our pole sitter for this second mini race. Dima Medvedev unfortunately had a little bit of contact earlier at this first mini race. Maybe a little bit of blessing in disguise, not for the points, but able to start on pole for heat number 2, our last race today. Thank you all for joining us and sticking with us. One more 20-minute race before we call this thing over. Dima, Omri, Mark, P1, 2, 3. Flash the grid up on your screen. Nick, I'm going to trust you with the viewers. I'm going to go grab another drink, and I'll be right back.
Uh-oh. I've been entrusted to hold everybody in the palm of my hand as the drivers get set on the grid once again. Of course, we have Dima. Then we have Omri, Mark, Arnon, Yossi, Ran, Ayali, Yuval, Alonde, and Reuven. The top 10 have been flipped. It's going to be up to Reuven and Alonde to push through the pack and see if they can't reclaim that first place checkered flag as we get set for this next race. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us here as the lights are lighting up. We have all 5, and away they go. The tire burn is off. The purple takes a very comfortable lead into first. Great jump at the lights there. It's going to close up into the first turn, going too wide through the back of that as we get a beautiful look down the entire pack. Now going into this left hand, still too wide. A little bit of contact, but nothing quite coming of it yet, as between the blue and white cars in the back of this lead pack here, as it's Alonde currently in 8th position, up 1 so far, with Reuven up in 9th, back down into 10th. It's just flying wild. Everybody going everywhere in terms of the timing screen as Alonde's come out back up into 5th as Rand's in 4th. So it's going to be a battle for those two right now to see who can make the run. But we have a run from Yuval onto Alonde as well. Nothing quite yet. Now coming into this right hand, too wide, and having to slam on brakes as that inside line really gets tight there. And now coming into this technical portion of the track, chaining these corners together is ever so important. There's a little bit of loose there from Alonde in that blue car. That's who we're keeping our eye on right now, as Reuven is still stuck in 8th, just does make it up into 7th right now. And everything is starting to settle out a little bit, but there's a run up the inside from Reuven onto Alonde. Are they gonna actually make that happen? They are, and it's actually Yuval, who makes that run up into 5th position, as Reuven is still in that 7th, looking to make the move onto Alon. There's, we do have one going wide there. That red car of Yehuda Ben Yosef goes, and maybe that was Ayali. That was Ayali, unfortunately, that goes wide there. So we're gonna get a replay of that.
Yeah, 2 by 2 not going to work going to the last turn of the track. And ooh, and I don't think he knew that the car underneath him was there, did Ayali, and matter of fact turned
No.
himself. That's what it looked
As
like.
I like to say in Valorant, check your corners. You got to check your mirrors, make sure you can make that turn. And unfortunately, did not do their due diligence and get spun around for it.
Something I've seen so many times with Yossi here. He's up 2 spots on this second heat. His pace really shows in the second heat. He's able to kind of show the short run speed on the start of the race and run away with it. But we see some 2 wide action there with Rand trying to make the outside work. He's going to get the inside down to the next downhill left-hander. Who gets the better off of this thing is now Yossi trying to make the outside work. Gonna run a little bit in the gravel as we will look 3 almost too wide getting out of the exit there. That could have been detrimental for a couple drivers.
Yeah, I mean, going 3 wide through some of these turns is going to be very, very rough. But looking at the timing screen right now, Alon sitting in 5th, Ran in 4th, Reuven in 6th, 0.3 of a second behind that of Alon Day. But Mark Zubarev having a half-second lead over the next fastest in 2nd of Omri. Really starting to push ahead, as we saw in the Silver Series. If you have that clean air and you're not being pressured, you can just go flat out and really start to solidify that position as yours.
Man, we're going to take a look at the replay of Mark passing Omri here and see how and what corner he does it in. Oh, that's when the contact is made between the leaders of, looks like Yuval as well as Dima gets a little bit slow. Yeah, that's the incident that we actually missed, so we'll take another look at that. That was big on that last lap, and here, we'll take an aerial shot at it now. Can kind of see Dima gets a little bit loose, maybe off that front bumper of Yuval. I do believe Yuval running wide. I don't... No, that wasn't Yuval. Yuval's further in the pack. That was another MF Racing, another white BMW, so apologies for putting that on Yuval, but... I'm trying to figure out who that was there up in the front, causing Dima to go around. But we're going to cut back live. Mark Zubarev trying to hold off there. That's who it was. Omri Farag getting into the back bumper of Dima. Again, I highly doubt that any of that was Coma City's intentional. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Nothing. Again, I highly doubt that anything from these drivers was. But very close racing.
No, this is excellent racing here. You can see just how tight these drivers are to each other, especially coming down this front straight. And with this cloud cover, like you were saying earlier, it's going to drop the track temperatures just a little bit, but there's not as much gravel on the track as there was in the Silver Series. And I think that's helping these drivers be able to not over-rotate these cars and go off even more. As we saw in the Silver Series, just the command of these cars is on a significantly other level than that of the Silver Series. But you got to start somewhere, and the Silver Series is doing a great job in their own, hoping to get up to this level one day. And it just shows how big of a gap there really is between these two series, as the command and speed of these same cars is, significantly faster.
I believe that's 2 MF Racing cars next to one another. Is Mark Zubarev going to go around? That was right during a camera cut, so we're going to see what happened there. If he got help or maybe just did it himself. But yeah, now we got 2 teammates out here up front at Okayama. Mark, what happened to that Red Bull-esque paint scheme? Oh, that's a little late. Back her up, back her up, back her up. Here we go. 2 MF Racing BMWs right behind Mark, trying to take a little bit more outside line, and then, oh, that is, what
Cuts
number
in.
is that? The 997?
997.
Oh.
Mark cuts in too much, gets tagged on that back end.
You hate to see that with Mark, man. Ah, he was.
Yeah.
Even after sure you have the inverted grid, but he had the pace to be up there in the lead. And then now we got teammates side by side. Yuval Merak going to grab the lead from Omri. Little bit of a, oh, I love to see the yellow and purple differential between the two teammate cars, and then Alon Day. Sure, even if you are Yuval's teammate, can't really do too much to slow down Alon, as now he is up to P2. What a move!
Yeah.
We're gonna see Alon's Day, Yuval's move on Omri, his teammate here, for the lead. This is just down into turn 1 once again.
Yeah, just a beautiful inside line. Had a better, go through of it, and now coming back around on it, Alon was able to capitalize on the slower car as well, and Reuven now as well has taken the 3rd position, so it's going to be a tight top 3 here with about 12 minutes left in this race.
Going to come down to the nitty-gritty here. Yuval Marek, man, he told me yesterday, we were chatting it up a little bit as saw some side-by-side between Yossi and Lodem. Yuval told me does not expect a win at any means here at Okayama this weekend, but did tell me to keep an eye out for some aggression, and we see it now. Lodem Yossi still going side-by-side. The number 3 able to get that spot in the last corner of the track. I believe that's turn number 15. A little bit of light flashing you saw out of the front nose of Yossi Gabe there. Oh my gosh, Silver Series was so much fun to watch. I think Gold is living up to its name at this time, as well as Alon Day still trying to take that gap down on Yuval, down to 0.5 and approaching 0.4 second gap.
Yeah, I mean, Gold Series always lives up to its name here, Sean. Come on, as these racers are showing everything that they're made of, leaving nothing to question as they're giving it their all here on this track. It's a very difficult track in that technical portion on that backside, because you're coming down this straight, then you have to really get on the brakes, slow your car down to turn around on this hairpin. You have that hairpin right into the 90 left, into another essentially 90 left into a small straight that you have to chain together into a hairpin left and right that you have to S through. It's very technical. Keeping your car rotating with speed is very, very difficult, as you can see here. Alon losing a little bit of time there to Reuven, who tried to make a play around the outside but couldn't quite make it get it done there. It just shows how close in skill these racers are. Is a little bit of puff of gravel as they get off track a little bit, trying to use every inch of the track that they can to get every ounce of speed out of these cars.
Heading back down into turn 1, and oh my gosh, that was very close. Matter of fact, a little too close. We see an incident between Yossi and Lodem here in the back of the pack, or further back in the back of the pack. This is heading into, I believe, one of our hairpin corners. Riding on board with the 17 now. Looks like just gets a tiny bit deep, going to turn Lodem around, but gets hard on the brakes, and ooh, another yellow. Oh, yellow's 2 spots in that whole incident there. Looks like maybe even 3 now. Wow, that was a chain reaction. Oh, and then noses into the wall as we saw last second. Oh yeah. Hate to see that for Yossi. He's brought his car to the pits, as now we are battling up for the lead. We're getting side by side. Who's going to take away this thing? 11 minutes to go. Alon, Reuven, Yuval. Oh, this is the battle for the lead.
Yeah, I mean, 3 cars, 2 teammates. Oh, no, not quite 2 teammates. The 2 teammates are about 4 cars apart, but just look how close these cars are.
Alon Day's going to get taken.
From Reuven, he's going to get taken through there, but now with the inside line is going to be taken back by Alon Day. It is not. He's too far back, but he's going to make a run up through the straightaway here. Are they going to be able to make that play happen as they're going to go into this right hand, getting set up for the front straightaway? He's going to take the second place there as the 42 goes into the gravel just a little bit, but now through this front stretch here, going across the start-finish line, it is getting ever so tight between these 3 cars here as Reuven is looking to make another play, but Alon Day on the defense, keeping him back just enough to make sure that they don't have a play there. Closing down that inside line. Good defense being played as Alon's trying to find that opening to attack the first place car that Yuval is driving.
Man, something I love about Okayama is just that technical portion of the track. Yeah, you got that last sector, but just about every corner here is just a setup to another corner. And if you find yourself pushing things just a little bit too deep, you can see like something that we've seen within the silver race drivers get maybe a bit too deep runoff in that gravel, and that's just going to ruin the chances. But this top three, no mistakes showing between 1, 2, or 3rd. Even 4th there, you don't count out Rand just yet. Only 2 seconds behind this battle, but we've seen it one too many times today and even this whole season. You start to get to battling with your buddies one too many times. Even if you're even here up 7 spots, that's just going to present Rand that much more of an opportunity to gain on these guys. Matter of fact, already did gain a 1/10 of a second since I last talked about it. So we hop on board with Rand now. You can see these guys start to battle it out in your front mirror. Another puff of gravel. Man, all over the front nose of that BMW. Hey, no hail damage repair, but maybe a little bit of a rock chip repair going on for the number 1, Rand Sassoni.
Yeah, as I mean, you said it best. We're keeping an eye on this battle because this is the battle that matters most here. This is the closest battle across the track with, you know, almost 6 minutes remaining left. Keeping such a tight focus for even that little bit amount of time is very, very difficult whenever, you know, the slightest of mistakes can push you out of the top 3 even. You know, Rand, who is 2.5 seconds back, still can easily pass you up if you aren't careful. And these 3 cars are just, they're continually pushing, continually trying to make a play. Here's Alon, tries to make a play around the outside, and with that play there, trying to make a play on the inside, is turns the car, but not quite enough. Doesn't have the speed on the outset of that turn. Unfortunately, does not make it happen. Gets shunted back into 3rd with that window closing on them. But you can see just how close they are on that bumper, as things are tighter than they have ever been before between these 3 cars.
What battling. Oh my, still quite no contact between the top 3. Like you're just saying, don't count out Rand here, but with no contact still as we are approaching just 5 minutes to go with 1 minute 40 lap times. Going to be interesting to see when that start finish, or excuse me, the white and checkered flag fly. But now we're heading down that start finish straight one more time. Yuval, Alon, Reuven, Rand, and Omri, that top 5, and just trying to make Alon look in his mirrors, make a mistake if you're even here. But Alon, he's a Euro NASCAR driver, man. Gonna be so hard to do. And as we approach the shorter of our first straightaway, going to hit that hairpin down to the longer straightaway, get some slipstream working for these drivers now.
Yeah, with this longer straightaway on the back stretch coming through, it's the time where you can pick up some of that speed, maybe look to make a play if the person in front of you misses their braking zone.
Oh, here we go, Alon.
And there it is. Alon Day makes a play for first there. Has to slam on the brakes. Isn't going to be able to
3-1.
a little bit of contact. Are they going to be able to hold it through the inside line now here through piece of this technical portion, throwing the 2nd place car out onto the gravel, and they are going to be able to hold first.
Oh no, Alon's going to get turned.
They're going to get dumped, and they're going to be shoved into 4th position, if not 5th, maybe even 6th if they're not able to get out onto the track in time. What an unfortunate time for Alon Day, who had that, and then unfortunately, with the racing so tight, got dumped into 5th position.
That is going to result in Reuven P1, Yuval P2, Rand Sassoni P3. Oh my gosh, before we cut to the replay, okay, no, he's too focused to realize, oh, a little bit of zoom in action there. He's too focused to kind of realize, or not realize, but think about what just happened. Let's take a look at what just happened. Alon Day getting turned. Here you see a little shot of it there. We're gonna cut to an aerial view, get you a better cam view of it, and I will say Alan Day did get that BMW righted very, very quickly.
Yeah.
So we see the
Just
incident
right
here.
there.
The tiniest bit of contact. These cars are so light, Nick.
They are, and you can see Reuven going around the outside was able to avoid all of that contact and able to just slip into first position.
That he was, and able to keep up there in that first position. Now Yuval Merrick P2, Rantasoni P3, Omri Farag, Alon Day P5 up 4 spots since the start of the race. Arnon Levi and then Sison Baba up there, or Sission Baba, biggest mover of the race, well, second biggest mover besides Reuven, obviously, leading this thing up 9 spots since starting down there in P10, or I guess it would be P9. As we are just now approaching 2 minutes to go, gaps now starting to show themselves after a couple incidents here late.
Yeah, I mean, that was really our first big shunt of the race. We've had a few others, but that was probably the biggest, most meaningful one to happen. And unfortunately for Alon Day, that's going to put him in 5th position, and he's going to have to try to catch up to Omri to get into 4th. And it just, unfortunate time, just only a minute and a half left in this race.
That should bring out, depending on when that leader came around, gonna be close. But yeah, you mentioned white flag. The lap times these drivers are putting down is about a 1:40. So will we get one more chance for these drivers to come around one more time and make some last minute moves, or is this the white we will see this time by? Gosh, that's so close on Reuven was when he came across the start finish line there. We'll update you on that. All right, unless, is it in the timing and scoring softwares? We're going to get side by side down the backstretch heading into a hairpin. Omri Farag, Alon Day.
Alon able to make the play happen and get back up into 4th position, still trying to get those points. As now with how far back there's a 5-second gap between Alon and Ran. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to make that play for 3rd. If they're able to hold on to 4th, that'll mean that at least they get some points out of this. Not hoping for with that 1st position, as they are definitely going to be a little upset about how that turned out. But Reuven absolutely happy
Checkered
with how it turned
flag,
out.
boys.
Gets that 1st place spot. Yuval coming in 2nd, Ran, then Alon Day, and Omri going to be rounding out the top 5 there.
You got Arnon Levi, Sission Baba, Dror Last, P8, P9. Iran Deletsky there, P10. Yossi Gabe, P11. Dima, P12. Ayeli, P13. And Mark Zubrev, 14th. Lodem, Ido, Asaf, rounding out that 15th spot. Or, excuse me, 17th spot. I'm going to take a couple looks at some replays that happened on this white flag lap, or if not, very close to. There's this incident again with Alon Day, and we're going to back that up once again because I'm sure that this is going to be something that these guys at least want to discuss. Here's a slowed down look at it. That's not the best angle we got, but it Nick, do you see contact between there? We're going to cut to a rear bumper cam on Alon next cut. But did you see any contact between Alon and the driver behind him there?
There had to have been, because
For
it doesn't
how he
look
got
like.
sent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's
Gotta be, yeah, definitely.
There's no way there's not contact there.
And again, not saying that was intentional contact, but just really good, what you call a racing incident between two drivers. And Alon Day, so surprised with how fast he caught first gear and able to get M2 righted as we again approach just 2 sessions to go. Excuse me, 2 races to go within the rest of the season. Nick, I thank you for coming up here in the booth with me on a Monday afternoon. And if you're joining over us on the other side of the world Monday night, I appreciate that. I am going to try to get Ryuvan, Yuval, or Ran up here for an interview. So stick with us there. If not, I'm going to see if there's anybody in a Discord server. Ran, oh, we do. How about that? All right, going to drag him in now. Hey, Rand, you got a copy?
Yeah, I copy.
Rand,
Hello,
man, nice
hello.
work today getting up in that top three. And hey, I appreciate you putting in the old driver driver cam. What was it like battling up there and today within those two mini races?
Well, I'm not really a type of driver that drives these kind of cars. I'm more of a formula, or I need downforce.
That's what
It's
I
really hard to
thought,
me
man.
to, yeah. So I took the championship last league, and now I'm really struggling. So I really put down some hours, and I trained for this race. But still, man, the top three. I mean, Chacha, Day, and Marek were just unstoppable. And you saw I had a moment there where I was fighting with Yossi, and those three just absolutely shuffled me. So I got a bit of damage, and then I just stayed focused and decided to keep up with those three while they were fighting, and hoped to catch up because of their battling. And it worked out at the end. Yeah.
And that it did. And shoot, you mentioned it. Even the competition between the BMW M2s this series, I'm showing your best lap was, matter of fact, tied with Yuval Murek's 138, or excuse me, 139.08. Just great racing between you guys today, and congratulations on that top three. Is there anybody that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, first of all, to ILAKA for managing and sponsoring this league, for Tal for managing, for everybody that is taking part and participating in this amazing thing, and for you guys for broadcasting, of course.
Hey, thank you, Tal. That means, or that. Thank you to Tal, and yes, Rand. That means the world to us here. Nick, you got anything you want to ask Rand before he gets off going?
Yeah, just what's probably the biggest difference between for you? You said that you're a lot more familiar with the formula style cars versus the more sports car oriented, like the BMW M3 here. What's probably the biggest hurdle for you as you make that shift from that super formula style of car to this sports car?
Traction, man. Just, getting back on the gas, you have to be so gentle. The car wants to oversteer when you brake, and you don't have any brake bias or control over the ABS or traction control. So you have to adapt to the car. You can't tune anything. And just, to be so gentle when you get back on the gas because the lack of traction, it's really hard for me to. It's a struggle for me every time. Yeah.
Interesting to see that differential between the two cars take place, but man, starting to show you catching a hang of it. Getting P3 today. No, we got WeatherTech next time, 2 weeks time. Oh, Laguna Seca. I don't know if
Yeah.
you started training for that, but best of luck to you then. And oh, the old corkscrew. That's gonna be tough in these
Yeah,
M3s.
that's gonna be interesting. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Ran, and gonna move on up to Yuval now.
Thanks for
Congratulations
having me.
on your P3.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Yuval Merrick, man, you got a copy getting that P2 leading quite a bit of today's race and even last mini race.
Yeah, it's been a tough race, battling all race long, non-stop. So, you know, I'll take what I get.
Man, and walk us through what was it like trying to catch Ryuvan there at the end of the race?
I believe I had a bit of damage, but Ruben he's really fast. Yeah, so you know, a bit of damage and not having enough pace doesn't really work out.
Yeah, and what was it like? I believe I'm not sure if that's just the same paint scheme or teammate there, but between Aubrey. But what was it like battling and even side by side with what could be teammate Omri Farag there?
That was cool. We definitely gonna talk about it a lot. So yeah.
Well, Nick, you got anything for Yuval before we head up to? I don't. Is our leader here? I'll get on that here.
Just what is
And
it? What is it like? Putting these. How comfortable are you in this car? I mean, obviously you got, you know, good positioning here. Uh, how do you feel going from like? Of course, last season was the Super Formula. This season, has this been a struggle for you? Now adapting to this BMW, or have you felt pretty comfortable in this sports car?
my driving style really suit this car, so it really fit me, and it wasn't really a struggle to adapt to this car. So I've been fast since the beginning, and yeah.
That that's kind of exact opposite as we just heard from Rand. So, how does that happen? Is it just the training you get from ground zero, or like training from when you first started iRacing, or is that just preference, or what goes into that decision?
Uh, it's pretty much a mix of everything. So when I started in iRacing, I pretty much drove the MX-5 a lot. So the M2 is really, it's really acting the same. So yeah.
And congratulations, and then even Ryuven. I don't think we have him in the Discord. Gonna give him a minute or two here, see if he wants to, or if he's able to get into the ILAKA Discord or even Stam Studio Network Discord. Yuval, congratulations again, and man, you were right. We messaged a little bit before yesterday, before the race, and yeah, that gravel, of course, it did make a difference in silver and even gold as more drivers continued to go off track, push things just a bit too far. Oh boy, Yuval, Rand, thank you so much for joining us up in the booth tonight, and Ryuven, hopefully able to hear just a few moments time. If not, no worries, we understand there. Nick, anything you got for our drivers or our audience before we wrap things up? Alright, I think that is going to end up wrapping things up for you, Vin. Congratulations once again. Yuval, oh man, that first heat as we look at 3 wide here on that last lap. Congratulations to you, that first heat race and heat race number 2, finishing heat number 2.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, of course, man. Anytime. Thank you again, Tal Stern, having us on board today. IIL, aka Esports. This has just been a tremendous time up here in the booth. This has been Sean Stam, Stam Studio Network, coming at you live. We're gonna head up out of here. Thank you again so much. Make sure to hit that like, subscribe button. See you next time. Stam Studio Network and IIL YouTube channel.